What's better for mobile, optics or iron sights? Welcome back to the channel, I'm Kith, and today we're going to go over the pros and cons of both optics and iron sights in COD Mobile. If you're new to the channel, I give tips and tricks that can help you become a better player. I am happy to announce that I will be streaming Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Trovo. Just search for KithYT to watch me stream, and Sundays here on YouTube, right here on this channel. If you want more of this type of content, let me know by hitting today's goal of 2,002 likes. Make this video reach more people so you too can help them decide whether to go and stick to iron sights or optics. In real life, optics are used in guns in order to make it easier to focus on the target instead of having to focus on the iron sight. You put the dot on top of the target and shoot. Not much fuss on aligning your iron sights right and your focus not being on the target. In console or PC, optics aren't used much because those are played on larger screens. Therefore, you'll be able to see targets easier and better. In the case of Warzone or BR, using optics is the way to go because they offer magnification and you need a clear vision of your target because it's such a huge playing field. Optics make life a lot easier, but there are definitely some downsides you might want to consider. Here are some reasons why you might prefer or might want to consider using optics. It is a no-brainer that you'll be able to see targets faster whenever you're aimed down sight with an optic. Take a red dot sight for an example. Let's say you were pre-aiming a certain area and you saw one target, and then another showed up, and you only know that because you were using an optic. You may not have seen him if you were using an iron sight, but knowing that you have an optic equipped, you're able to acquire targets a lot faster because you have a clear vision of the targets. You will not only acquire targets faster, you will also see them better because there are less obstructions to your sight. If an opponent decides to drop shot, you will be able to see him in the act of proning because you have an optic equipped. If an enemy is running in one direction, you will be able to track him clearly even if he changes directions because you're able to see him clearly with an optic. You'll be able to see any sudden movements, giving you more information to help you with your decision making when it comes to the gunfights, such as trigger discipline. Overall, you will have the edge when it comes to medium to long range gunfights because even with all the recoil in the world, you will still be able to see your target, giving you the ability to track him at all times during the gunfight. You can choose among all these shapes and sizes of optics you want to use, although take note that only red dot sights and holographic sights are the only optics that do not increase your aim down sight time, meaning there are no negatives when it comes to your ADS speed. You can also choose among the available reticles in the Customize tab. On the other hand, optics have a few disadvantages. With Gunsmith in place, you want to be able to have all the customization you can do with your gun. Having an optic equipped strips you away of one potentially useful attachment that you can use to gain an advantage with the gun that you're using. When you have a red dot equipped, the aim shake will apply to your gun and also to the dot or your reticle of choice. This will make you feel less in control whenever you're shooting with your weapon. Just like the aim shake, you will also feel like your gun has more recoil. Optics don't necessarily increase recoil or aim shake, but the kick of the recoil together with the reticle aim shake will make you feel as if it has more than if you have an iron sight equipped. If you're liking the video so far, hit the like button to go for 2,002 likes for this video. Iron sights, on the other hand, are really useful if they are good. In console or PC, they are used more than optics because of how big the screen is compared to mobile. Pros always tend to go for the iron sights if they can because of some reasons that we will dive right into in just a bit. Some people prefer iron sights because they look cool, and some people perform good whether or not they have a red dot sight on. Needless to say, iron sights take a bit more effort to practice than using an optic like the red dot sight. Now on mobile, especially if you're playing on phone, the screen is overall smaller and the iron sights that are useful in console or PC might not be as clear as they are on phone. Playing on an iPad or a tablet is for sure an advantage because you'll be able to spot enemies and see targets from afar better. If you're rocking an SMG or an aggressive type weapon like a shotgun or an aggressive AR, you'd be better off using the iron sights because you won't need much visibility anyway now that you'll be taking more gunfights face to face with the enemy. In competitive, you want to gain as much advantage than the other guy, so not having optics equipped, sticking to the iron sights grants us more customization when it comes to our Gunsmith. You can invest in an extra attachment for mobility, recoil control, or bullet spread accuracy. Having talked about one of the cons of optics earlier, iron sights will feel like there's less visual recoil as well as aim shake. Let's compare both side by side with no attachments equipped. You can see that with iron sights, firing looks more stable, making you feel like you're more in control. Now this one is trivial, but using iron sights might or might not make you feel like a pro player, because it's just cool to rock with the iron sights, not depending on optics. Most pros in COD Mobile forgo using a red dot sight or any other optic because of what we talked about earlier about having one extra attachment slot for that competitive edge. Depending on various factors such as the size of your mobile screen, how large are the iron sights of the gun you're using, and even the skin your enemy is using, you might not be able to see targets as fast than if you were rocking an optic such as a red dot or holographic sight. Talking about how large some guns might be, there are some guns that have straight up bad iron sights, which gives the player no choice but to equip an optic that's comfortable to them. Also, if your opponent decides to drop shot, you won't be able to see them unless you look down, and that takes away a lot from your reaction time. When you combine iron sights and recoil in longer ranges, you might be at a disadvantage because as you fire and try to control your recoil, your gun might kick high up, causing your target to disappear from your sights, not being able to track them as efficient than if you were to have a red dot sight. I hate saying this, but it's true. There are some skins from the Battle Pass that give you better iron sights in a gun like the QQ9 and the LK24. But when it comes to some guns like the Fennec, the HBR, the LK24, and the Manowar, you might have to pay your way into getting some decent iron sights that you can use inside of the game. At the end of the day, people are free to choose and go with what they're comfortable with. A good friend of mine and a really good young COD Mobile pro player from the Philippines, Ipao, weirdly likes to put on red dot sights on his guns. From the ASM-10, the Manowar, the PP-19 Bison, and even the BY-15. Yes, the BY-15. While you can perform well with both iron sights and optics, it is undeniable that aiming is easier with optics, while it will take some practice and mastery when it comes to using iron sights. That's it for today's video. Make sure you drop a like if you learned anything from this video, and if it helped you decide on whether to use optics or iron sights. Again, don't forget to hop on my streams on Trovo, and if you want to interact more with me, follow me on Twitter or join our Discord server where we do lots of interesting things and talk about fun stuff, link down below. For today's question, how long have you been playing COD Mobile? Thanks for watching, I'll see you on the next one.